Well, hello everybody. Jason W. Nudie's Revolution Cave. It is Sunday. It is again my favorite day of the year. What is going on with that shirt? Stop it, shirt. And I'm ready to review WrestleMania with you. That's right. We have been waiting the entire Wrestling with the Past to get to this point. March 31st, 1985, WrestleMania. Madison Square Garden. It became something I assume that it wasn't intended to be. It became, obviously, equivalent to the Super Bowl and the World Series, I believe. And I don't think that was the plan, March 31st, 1985. But here we go. Unfortunately, I had two copies of WrestleMania from the tape trading days. I don't know why. They were both on 2 discs apiece. Right? So a lot of times guys would cram a show into 1 disc, but these were spread out on 2 discs. So I thought that they were, that at least one of them was the pay-per-view version, or the, non-WWE 24/7 or non-WWE Network version. So I put in the first one and it was the 24/7 version. I put in the second one and it was the 24/7 version. So, unfortunately, I do not have a original copy. And all that means, I think, is that the music is different. I don't think I missed anything. In fact, I know that the stuff that I have is longer than the Coliseum home video stuff, and it has a couple more features, and I'll tell you that in a minute. So, that's okay. We'll see how much the music impacts the show. We've got the WrestleMania graphic to open up the show, and they run down every match just with pictures of guys and the WrestleMania graphic. So that's their intro. Jesse and Gorilla introduce us to the show, and they immediately throw it to the Fink, who welcomes us to WrestleMania. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleMania. And then Howard Finkel introduces Mean Gene Okerlund to sing the national anthem. That's right, folks. Forget the celebrity national anthem singer. Forget the big name, big contract singer. No Taylor Swift. Not even Aretha Franklin, Boyz II Men. No. Mean Gene, ladies and gentlemen. Mean Gene sings the national anthem, and he sings the national anthem. And Mean Gene is a hype man, and he's singing the national anthem kind of in the character of Mean Gene. And I think at one point he goes, "Everybody!" And, that's Mean Gene. Something that I think might just be, I don't think that this was on the Coliseum home video. For those who have it, check for me. But before every match, they go to Lord Alfred Hayes, who is in the entryway of the aisleway to the ring. You get that? So he's standing with his back to the ring, camera in front. He's in the dressing room, but he's right in front of the curtain where people are going to walk right past him, and he's introducing each match. He's got his WrestleMania program in his hand, which I'm sure that he needed to introduce each match, and he's telling us who's coming up. And what's cool is that they walk past him on the way to the ring, and then you see the wrestler walking towards the ring. It's a pretty cool view. And I don't know, I guess it's a cool touch. I don't know. But they also have interviews of each wrestler before their match. So they go to Lord Alfred Hayes. Lord Alfred Hayes says, a very good match coming up here. Tito Santana versus the Executioner. Let's go to an interview earlier today. So Tito Santana versus the Executioner is up first. And yes, they go to interviews in the WWF screen, right? So the interview screen. So these are pre-taped, I assume, in the WWF studio or whatever. I'm assuming they didn't tape him at WrestleMania. Pre-taped. So we have an interview with Tito Santana and, Arriba. And then just like the old days, just like the very, 70s and early 80s days, Tito walks off and Mean Gene goes, all right, come on in, Executioner. And Executioner walks in from the other side. So they don't even like pretend that they were on two different days. And that's how they used to do it in the old days. Okay. That's how they do it in the old days. Where they're trying their hardest to maintain kayfabe, but they have, a wrestler going, I'm literally going to kill you the next time I see you. And then he walks off and the other guy comes in and just talks, Anyway, so they're doing that for WrestleMania. They interview the Executioner, who most of us already know was Playboy Buddy Rose under the mask. And he, he just says that he's going to make a name for himself or something like that. I don't know. But we get interviews before each match. That's cool. All right, Tito Santana versus the Executioner. This is the first match of WrestleMania, folks. And how does Tito belong in the first match of WrestleMania against the Executioner? Not in WrestleMania 20, not in WrestleMania 3 even, but in WrestleMania 1. I think that it was a glorified house show, a very, 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 very glorified house show. But I think the same house show breakdown was planned all along. Now, they didn't use guys like Jose Luis Rivera, and they didn't use Charlie Fulton or Terry Gibbs. Nothing wrong with those guys. But as we'll see, they used enhancement talent that were, fantastic, already accomplished wrestlers. Maybe just to give the in-ring feel. I don't know. I don't think you can have Terry Gibbs versus Tito Santana at WrestleMania. And I don't think that you can have the regular Executioner or the regular Mr. X, whoever that was on TV. So they give it to Buddy Rose. Buddy Rose, because they know that they're going to get a good match out of Buddy Rose. And they get a great match out of Buddy Rose. We get the famous crisscross to start the match. You know what that is. Executioner and Tito are staring at each other, getting pumped up. And then they both run in opposite directions. And they're hitting the ropes like this. The dreaded crisscross. One of the, just for non-wrestling fans, if your dad walks in the room and he sees them crisscrossing in a fight, he's like, what are you watching? Tito with a backdrop off the crisscross and then a great-looking drop kick, which knocks the Executioner out of the ring. I said that this was a great opener, to be honest. It just had a lot of energy, being the first match on WrestleMania. Plenty of back and forth in this match. Tito looks very sharp with everything he's doing. Executioner is great. He's like I said, he's already an accomplished wrestler. The crowd's pumped. You can just tell that the crowd is like, as Gorilla would say, electrified. And it's true. There's so much hype for this. There's so much build up to this. I mean, there's 2-3 months of build up. Those are happy screams. Finley found new friends on Fortnite, so those are happy screams. Buddy Rose gets a little bit of the offense going for himself, and he tries to get the figure 4 on Tito Santana. He goes for it a few times. At one point, going for the figure 4, Tito Santana kicks Mr. X over the top rope, and he lands on the ringside chair. So he goes over the top rope near the announcer's table, and there's an empty chair there, and he goes over the top rope and then lands right in the chair and just sits there. And that made for a pretty cool visual, I guess. A little bit back and forth, and then Tito hits the forearm and then slips on the figure 4 for the win. I noticed a little delay in the bell ringing, and the referee's going out of his mind to get the bell to ring. So we've got the end of the match. We've got referee ringing the bell. Tito's got the figure 4 on. Tito's not going to release the figure 4 until the bell rings, so it looks silly. Referee's jumping around, ringing the bell. Then he walks over to the ropes and goes, ring the bell! And then finally we get the bell ring. First match, WrestleMania. Timekeeper. Come on. Get with it, Timekeeper. So that means Tito immediately jumps up and puts up his hands and wins the match. There we go. First match in the books. Tito defeats the Executioner. Next up, we've got King Kong Bundy versus SD Jones. We've got an SD Jones interview, and you can tell that SD Jones doesn't do a lot of interviews. He doesn't have a clue what to say. I'm going to get you, big man. When I get you, I'm going to get you. And then you're going to see that I'm going to get you because I'm on you. That's about it, you know, and he does the thing. That's about it. That's SD Jones's, you know. All right. Oh no, I wrote what he said. Here we go, baby. Get ready, baby. We're gonna get down, baby. That's what SD Jones said. I wrote it down. I just ad-libbed what he said, but he said, get ready, baby. Here we go, baby. We're gonna get down, baby. That was it. Oh, I'm excited, Mean Gene. Get ready, baby. Here we go, baby. King Kong Bundy, we're gonna get down, baby. Bundy ridiculous. Bundy interview, and he has his straps down, and he looks ridiculous without his straps. He is the most unshaven, or he is the most unhairy, pasty white person I've ever seen. Now with his straps down, you can't even tell like his face from his neck to his chest. It's all just a blob. It's all just one form. And then there's like no hair. And I'm really thinking that Bundy shaved his eyebrows for some reason, because he is just very white, very hairless, and no definition amongst body parts. And it's a close-up. Those interviews are close. Here we go. You know the deal with this one. Bundy's in there. Did I say no sunglasses? I don't think Bundy had sunglasses, but Bundy was already in the ring after the interview, so you didn't even get to see the guys walk down the aisle. So right after the interview, they're already in the ring. So I didn't see if he had the sunglasses or the cape. So they're just staring at each other, and then the bell rings, and then we start the clock. 1, 2. This is important. The bell rings, and within 5 seconds. Okay, within 5-6 seconds, SD Jones charges Bundy. So he hits the ropes, charges into him. Bundy catches him. So SD's big move is, I'm running off the ropes, I'm jumping. Bundy catches him. Now we're at about the 10-12 second mark. Bundy rams SD Jones into the turnbuckle, misses the turnbuckle, actually rams him into the top rope. Rams him into the ropes. SD has to kind of sell that and then throw himself into the turnbuckle. So it looked terrible. You got a short match here, Bundy. You're supposed to pick up SD Jones, slam him into the turnbuckle. You miss the turnbuckle, hit the ropes. SD has to flop himself down. Right? That's at about 15 seconds. Now Bundy backs up and hits the avalanche 25, 30 seconds. And then gets the 3 count. Doesn't ask for the 5 count because that would be counterproductive, as you'll see why. And Bundy hits the splash for the win, right? And Jesse and Gorilla are going nuts. That's got to be some kind of record, Gorilla. And as they're announcing Bundy as the winner, Gorilla Monsoon says, that is indeed a new record. 9 seconds, Jess. 9 seconds, Jess. And then later on says, I believe the previous record was somewhere around 33 seconds. This match was around 33 seconds. And in any world of kayfabe, in any world, and Howard Finkel even announces, in 9 seconds, your winner, King Kong Bundy. And some of the crowd groans a little because it's just not even close to true. And I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they insult the intelligence. I mean, come on. 9 seconds. It's ridiculous. All right. We've got Ricky Steamboat is about to take on Matt Bourne again. We've got the Steamboat and Bourne interviews. They do fine, knowing what they're doing, of course. This is about a great 7-minute match. It really is a good match. And you would expect a good match out of these two. Remember, they're two great wrestlers in the ring. Matt Bourne, at this point in his life, pre-Doink the Clown, is a great wrestler from, Pacific Northwest organization. And he's got a good look. He's got blonde hair and a dark beard. It's a good look. I think Matt Bourne, probably could have done a little bit more at this time. Maybe a lower mid-card, maybe a mid-card guy. Great back and forth. Steamboat doing his usual Steamboat stuff, which is, chain wrestling and headlocks and arm drags. Bourne gets a very nice run of offense with a big suplex on Steamboat. And it's a good match. It's just a good, wrestling match, which is absolutely what you're always going to get with Ricky Steamboat. Of course, Steamer up to the top rope for a beautiful high cross body. During this match, at one point when somebody goes down on the mat, at one point we do get our first Gorilla Monsoon mentioning of the external occipital protuberance area. Right? We know that. That's what Gorilla does. He landed right there on the external occipital protuberance area. And then Jesse goes, back of the head for all you normal folks. That's always the reaction. Back of the head for all you normal people. I don't know why Gorilla would say that. Gorilla had, if drinking games were popular in '85, you could do a drinking game with Gorilla Monsoon all the time. He would always do, he always had the, he doesn't know an arm drag, or he doesn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch. That was always his thing. The external occipital protuberance. Excedrin number 9, I think he would say. That's a headache Excedrin number. I don't even know what that means. I think it has something to do with the medicine that was out in the 80s, Excedrin. I don't know where the number 9 comes from. What else would Gorilla? Literally, Gorilla would use the word literally in the most incorrect way. He would say, folks, the fans are literally hanging from the rafters. He would say. They're literally hanging from the rafters. Gorilla. I love Gorilla. Now, Jesse, I'll jump ahead here. I think I wrote this later on, but Jesse and Gorilla are so perfect for this card. And Jesse's so perfect because Jesse is not being the over-the-top heel announcer. He's just enjoying WrestleMania. And he's even getting caught up in it at certain points, too, talking about what great, wow, this is a huge match. And, he was not being a bad guy announcer. And he's so great. Jesse is so great at commentary. I think Jesse and Heenan, I think, might be tied for first. I know Gorilla, I know Vince, but I don't know. They bring Lord Alfred Hayes back again. I guess they didn't do Alfred Hayes for the previous two matches. We got Lord Alfred in the entryway to the arena, and we've got David Sammartino versus David Sammartino versus Brutus Beefcake up next. And as so they interview Beefcake and Johnny V, and they interview David Sammartino and Bruno, and it's fine, it's your interview. But as Johnny V and Beefcake are walking out, they pass in front of Lord Alfred, and of course Johnny V's like, bah, 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 and then they go to the ring. So I just think that's cool that you get to see Johnny V and Beefcake with their backs to the camera walking towards the WrestleMania ring at Madison Square Garden. We've never seen that view before. Brutus is announced from parts unknown, and he's been announced from San Francisco, California before in the WWF, I believe, and it's been mentioned he's from San Francisco, but at WrestleMania he's announced from parts unknown, and I don't get parts unknown. Brutus Beefcake, parts unknown is reserved for the missing link. It's reserved for Mr. X. It's reserved for maybe even who else? Like all the crazy, masked wrestlers or face makeup wrestlers. Those are parts unknown. Brutus Beefcake is just a regular person. Why is he from parts unknown? I never understood the parts unknown, parts unknown, weight unknown. Like there's a commission. You know, you got to weigh in. Referee's late to the ring on this one, so again, we've got a weird delay. David and Bruno I keep saying Bruno, and I know I'm going to keep saying Bruno. David and Brutus are kind of hanging out in their corner, you know, trying to make it look good, and then a referee finally comes in the ring. WrestleMania, guys, come on. A lot of stalling in the beginning, especially with Johnny V and Brutus, and I guess maybe you had to stall because there was no ref. But the whole, you know, taking off the bow tie and then pausing because the crowd is booing, because, you know, that's what you do when another man is undressing his wrestler. You have to boo, and then you have to get upset. What? I'm not gay. Let's see. We got mostly a seesaw battle, as again, Gorilla Monsoon would say in this match. A lot of wear down moves, a lot of front face locks, a lot of ground wrestling, leg locks, ankle locks. Both guys had their time to work over the other guy, meaning Brutus would get a leg lock, then, you know, David would get a front face lock, and then they'd go back and forth. And I think I said Bruno again. Overall, Brutus has more control, with David playing the, you know, the good guy in peril, meaning that he's always trying to come back. He's always on his knees, giving the punch to Brutus's belly. You know, David is kind of playing, you know, getting beat up most of this match. Brutus tosses David Sammartino out of the ring, and he tosses him out right near Johnny V, and Johnny V scoops up David and body slams him on the concrete floor. Then you see old Bruno running around the ring and just does his Bruno uppercuts, you know, onto Johnny V. Crowd's going nuts. Bruno takes Johnny V, throws him in the ring, and goes after him. David is still recovering on the floor. Brutus and Johnny V are now double teaming Bruno in the corner until David comes in, makes the save. We've got a brouhaha, a Pier 6 brawl, Katie bar the door. They're literally hanging from the rafters, and all four men are going at it. Referee loses control, throws out the match, and we've got a double DQ. We got a double DQ. All right, folks, we've got our first title match of WrestleMania. We have the Intercontinental title held by Greg Valentine. He's defending against Junkyard Dog. We have interviews with Dog and Valentine. Junkyard Dog comes out to grab them cakes, which is not his WrestleMania 1985 theme song. That would be Queen's Another One Bites the Dust. But unfortunately, with the WWE Network, all of the musical rights are not renewed. So we get generic music, or in this case, we get the WWE-owned Grab Them Cakes. And it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. And in fact, when Howard Finkel is doing the announcing, Another One Bites the Dust is playing over the PA. So not only do they have to dub in Grab Them Cakes, they have to dub in a modern time Howard Finkel. So whenever they made the censored version of this card, they had to bring Howard Finkel in to do a Junkyard Dog announcement, or they took a Junkyard Dog announcement from another time. But it's not WrestleMania Howard Finkel. It's Howard Finkel of whatever year doing the voiceover. And I hate that. So Dog versus Valentine, here we go. Early arm work by both men. It wouldn't be a Junkyard Dog match without the headbutt spot where he knocks down Valentine. gets down on all fours. As Valentine kind of gets on all fours himself, Dog rams into him. Valentine falls down, gets back up on all fours. Junkyard Dog rams into him. Usually it results in the guy rolling out of the ring. That happened. I think that's like the worst spot ever and the most, iconic childhood spot ever. So I can't hate it. It also wouldn't be a Greg Valentine match without the slow fall that Valentine does. The timber tree falling. So that happens after a Junkyard Dog headbutt. He headbutts him. Valentine turns around. He's got this kind of dead look on his face. And then he just face plants. I like that. That's, Ric Flair, I think. I don't know who did it first, but, Ric Flair did it. Ric Flair does it a little bit more dramatically. Ric Flair does kind of the flop, where he's walking around and he's dazed and then he flops. Valentine just turns around, looks totally stunned, and then falls. I guess this match was better than the house show match that I saw in February, I guess. I don't know. I was kind of looking forward to this match, but then the house show match in February killed it for me because it's basically a replay of the match. You'll see. Dog has Valentine on the mat, and of course Jimmy Hart hops up on the apron. And in the most confusing things that make you go, spot of wrestling, Junkyard Dog leaves Valentine, leaves the Intercontinental title, leaves the increased pay that the WWE makes you believe for their champions, and goes to fight Jimmy Hart. He's got Jimmy Hart, hey, what are you doing up here, blah, blah, blah. Valentine gets up, goes running. He's about to hit the Dog from behind. Dog moves. Jimmy Hart takes the bump. Jimmy Hart took a nasty one. He went right out on his, first of all, he held the rope. He went down. His butt is below the apron. He lets go of the rope and then lands flat on his back on the floor, with Valentine, Dog, and referee kind of looking over at Hart to make sure, I guess, he's okay. Or maybe they don't care because it's 1985. Dog, from there, right after that spot, Junkyard Dog is doing these weird, punches into the belly, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, backing Greg Valentine into the corner. Valentine gets into the corner and does the famous finish, the same finish of the February pay-per-view, ducks down, double leg, Valentine on top of Dog, feet on the ropes, 1, 2, 3, Dog jumps up, whoa, what do you mean? There you go. That match is over, or so we think. Bell rang, Greg Valentine winner. In comes Tito Santana in street clothes, telling the referee, no, he had his foot on the rope. Referee reverses it and says, let's go, let's restart the match. Valentine says, I'm out of here, and he walks off. Junkyard Dog wins by countout, ladies and gentlemen, because Tito is the authority. He would be considered the general manager of today and got the match reversed. All right. Well, now we've got a match that I'm looking extremely forward to. Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov versus the U.S. Express. More generic music for the U.S. Express. They usually came out to Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. Obviously, they can't do that. And it's not even like American music. It's just like some generic, goofy, techno-y, free YouTube music. It's junk. And it kills it. It really does. I mean, because when the crowd, because they have to mute the crowd a little too. So, they pump in generic crowd noise. I want to hear the crowd erupt to Born in the USA. Sheik and Volkov are in the ring, anti-USA. It would have been so great. Finally, I get a good U.S. Express match, and it does not disappoint. Sheik's absolutely perfect. I think Sheik is so good. He's so good. The good guys control early with teamwork and, quick tags, and, Rotundo has Sheik at an arm bar and Barry Windham off the top rope. And Barry Windham jumps so passionately off the top rope. He leaps so high and just comes down with, the blow to Sheik's arm. Mike Rotundo with a great looking drop kick on Iron Sheik. And then Nikolai comes in, and that's usually where they get control, where the bad guys get control. But Wyndham and Rotundo work over Nikolai a little bit. Then we get the Iron Sheik. Nikolai's got somebody, Wyndham, Rotundo, I don't know. And Sheik is off the ropes, going to hit the guy. He moves. Nikolai gets hit by Sheik. Down goes Nikolai. And I love when Iron Sheik goes over the ropes. He's like, I'm sorry. Then the bad guys get some offense. A huge back body drop by Iron Sheik on Rotundo. Mike Rotundo was way up there, at least 15 feet, according to Gorilla Monsoon. All four men are in at some point. Rotundo drop kicks Sheik out of the ring while Wyndham has Nikolai. Well, Sheik outside of the ring allows Freddie Blassie to slip him the cane. And Mike Rotundo is now distracted by referee's kind of pushing Mike Rotundo back. Wyndham is on Volkov. They're near the ropes. Sheik has Blassie's cane. He winds up. He hits Barry Windham in the back of the cane. The cane breaks. Down goes Wyndham. Volkov on top. And we have new tag team champions, folks. Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov are your new WWF tag team champions. And then backstage, we get an interview with the new champs and those beautiful belts. Great match. Match of the night. I'll tell you right now, there's your spoiler. Match of the night, Wyndham and Rotundo versus Sheik and Volkov. The follow-up match of the night, quality-wise, is Ricky Steamboat versus Matt Bourne. All right, it's big $15,000 slam match. We get an interview with Big John Studd. No interview with Andre. Here we go, $15,000. If Andre slams Studd, he wins $15,000, allegedly. If he cannot slam Studd, Andre retires, allegedly. Unfortunately, it's quite an uneventful match. Studd attacks before the bell, and really these guys are clubbing. I mean, I know they're big, strong guys, and they can take, some punishment, but Studd is just clubbing Andre on the back. Andre is just open hand slapping Studd in the chest. It's just two big studs. Two big studs just running into each other. Back and forth. Andre's getting beat up. Then he fights back with chops and headbutts. Studd exits the ring. At one point, Andre has Studd in the corner and he's choking him. But he's like this for like 20 seconds, just over and over again. And Studd is just flying back and forth. His hair's flying. Studd is just, and Bobby Heenan's going insane outside the ring. We get a bear hug for some rest. Remember, these guys are old. Well, they're not old, but they may as well be because they have, they're carrying around a lot of weight. Andre is, Andre at this point. So we get a bear hug, rest hold. I think Andre has Studd in the bear hug. A few more chops, a little bits of offense from both men. And then out of the blue, Andre just starts kicking the legs of Big John Studd. He's just, 3-4 kicks to the leg. Studd's backing up. Andre scoops him up. There it is. So the 3 or 4 kicks to the leg apparently softened up Studd for the slam. So we get and it just happens just like that. It happens out of the blue. In fact, Gorilla Monsoon is caught off guard. He sells it. There's the slam. Crowd goes nuts. Andre reaches over the ropes, grabs the duffel bag of money, and then goes over to ringside. He's in the ring still. He goes over to the far end of the ring and starts throwing handfuls of money out into the ring. Now, out into the crowd. Now, what I noticed was that there was no riot, folks. We were civilized in 1985, apparently. Somebody's throwing money into the crowd, and people are just like, oh, cool. Oh, you want that one? You could have that one. Oh, I'll get this one. That's it. If that was done today, there would be dead children on the floor because 37 aisles back would have trampled ringside to try to get $5 because that's who we are today. Bobby Heenan, in the greatest heel move of all time, sneaks into the ring, puts his life on the line, grabs the bag out of Andre's hand, and takes off with the money. And that's so great. You don't You don't get any better than that. It's such a small move. It's so subtle. But he goes in from behind, steals the bag, and takes off. Runs down the aisle. So good. So good. We get an interview with Andre backstage. I don't know what he said. I have no idea what he said, but he's talking. All right, we've got Alfred Hayes now introducing from the dressing room entrance area, Leilani Kai and Wendy Richter. They start walking to the ring, and as they do, Moolah kisses Alfred Hayes. Kai kisses Alfred Hayes, and he goes, ah! Okay. We have an interview with Richter and Lauper, and both are just awful. Both are awful interviews. Again, you give the mic to Cyndi Lauper. I'll tell you what, Shmoola, you're not going to win this one, Shmoola, because my girl, Wendy Richter, she's a real wrestler. And I'll tell you what, Shmoola, she's going to put you where you belong, Shmoola. Whatever. It's the WWF Women's title. It's Leilani Kai, the champion, against Wendy Richter. I just can't ever enjoy these matches because they're not good. I mean, you get a ton of hair pulling. You get a ton of snap mares. You get a lot of flopping around the ring. They're not good. It's your typical 1985 women's match. Like I said, lots of hair pulling, lots of screaming. Both are working arm drags and arm bars early. Leilani Kai with some, choking, when the referee's not looking. A couple botches, couple awkward moments. Moolah gets involved. Richter's in the corner. Moolah starts choking her. Cyndi Lauper comes running around, whacks Moolah with her purse again. Kai was the aggressor for most of the match. Leilani Kai goes, okay, so here's the end. Leilani Kai goes for, this is, again, it's WrestleMania. You got to be perfect. Leilani Kai up on the top rope for a high cross body. Now, the idea was going to be Wendy Richter would take the high cross body, and then her momentum as she hits the mat would roll over in a nice smooth transition for the 1, 2, 3. Leilani Kai is shocked. She doesn't know what's going on, but it doesn't work that way. Leilani Kai hits the high cross body. Wendy Richter goes down. Now we have Kai on top of Wendy Richter. And Wendy Richter starts kicking her legs, trying to roll over. It's like a turtle on her shell, on her back. She can't get over. It's not the smooth roll. Leilani Kai has to kind of get off Wendy Richter, then roll over, then Richter on top of her. So it was like a 20-second roll up. Like it should have been a smooth 5-second transition. It took forever. Richter with the win in a horrible finish. However, the crowd doesn't care, and they're going bananas because Cyndi Lauper is in the ring, jumping up and down, dancing with Wendy Richter. Obviously, they don't have the girls just want to have fun music on this footage, but they had it pumping in the arena. Everybody loves it. Rock and wrestling is here, and crowd is just going insane. Great. All right, folks, it's main event time. It is main event time. First, we have Billy Martin brought out. He is the guest ring announcer. Then Liberace comes out, and he dances in the ring way too long with like 4 of the Rockettes. And they're doing the leg kick dance, and that took forever. Then Muhammad Ali is brought out. He is the referee, but he is not the inside the ring referee. He's the outside of the ring referee. For some reason, Pat Patterson is the in-ring referee. And then we have Piper's Bagpipes, and there's nothing more heel than this. Not that bagpipes are bad, not that Scottish music is bad, but for some reason, it's just angering everybody. And the bagpipe crew comes out, and boom, they're banging the drums, and they got the bagpipe. And then Roddy Piper just comes out, with his smarky, not smarky, his swarmy, whatever. His look, his arrogance. He comes out. Orndorff comes out. Orton comes out. Here we go. Billy Martin's a terrible ring announcer. He has, even though he's talking into a microphone, you can't hear him. He does not have the boom of, he's got kind of In this corner, Roddy Piper. And you can't hear him. Not good. I don't understand the Billy Martin. I don't know where. I mean, maybe the Yankees were hot at that's got to be it. I mean, the Yankees are hot. Billy Martin's a crazy manager. That makes sense. Okay. I just talked myself back into it. All right, here we go. This feels so big. The good guys come out, obviously. We got some footage of them in backstage. It's Real American instead of Eye of the Tiger. Awful. Crowd's going insane, even though you can't hear it's dubbed crowd noise because they got to dub in the music, like I said. So the crowd's going nuts. You just can't hear them. This just feels so big, like I said. Orndorff teases that it's going to be him and Hogan to start, but Piper's jumping up and down on ringside like he wants to get in with Hogan. So he gets in. So now it's Hogan and Piper, but then Mr. T starts going nuts. I want the tag. Hogan goes over dramatically, tags in T. Mr. T comes in. Now, Mr. T and Piper have this awesome forehead to forehead stare down, whatever. What happened? Oh, they start slapping each other. We get a couple open hand slaps from T, open hand slaps from Piper. They're just slapping each other. I think there's a little takedown going on, a little wrestling. Some amateur wrestling controlled by Piper. There's a sit out by Mr. T that drives everybody nuts. Mr. T gets Piper up on his shoulders, almost like an airplane spin, and just dumps him forward. Mr. T is then backed up into the corner, and we got some double teaming on, Orndorff and Piper are double teaming Mr. T. And Hogan comes in, and we got a big brouhaha. We have Hogan making the save. It settles back out with Hogan and Piper. They do their thing. Quickly, Mr. T is back in again, and he hits a body slam and a beautiful-looking arm hip toss. A very fast, very nice hip toss on Orndorff, who just does a great roll. He just takes a beautiful hip toss. A couple of body slams. Hogan back in. The bad guys work over Hogan for a good part of the match with Mr. T going insane. Now, Mr. T does not know how to do this. He's not a wrestler. The bad guys are double teaming the bad guys are double teaming Hogan, and Mr. T is like coming in the ring, but then backing off, and Pat Patterson keeps having to push him off. Mr. T is, half in the ring, half out of the ring. He doesn't know how to he doesn't know how to play his role with the double team. At one point, he runs in the ring and kind of just jumps but does nothing, and then Patterson has to push him back. I think at one point, Patterson was telling him to just cut it out. Just stop. Stay outside. Quit trying to save Hogan. What else we got? We got... so that leads to the shortest hot tag in history as Hogan hot tags in Mr. T. Crowd goes nuts. Mr. T comes in. He doesn't know what to do, so he starts getting beat up. And now Mr. T is down. We got some more amateur wrestling on the mat. He's just being controlled and dominated, which completely exhausts Mr. T. He tags out to Hogan, and you can see Mr. T on the apron, gone. Can't breathe. He's kneeling. He's messed up. Mr. T is gone. Blown up, as they say in the business. Orton's about to interfere. Here comes Snuka out of nowhere. So he gets in, gets a shot on Orton. At one point, all 6 men are in the ring. Everybody's in the ring. The 2 referees have lost control. Roddy Piper is... Paul Orndorff is holding Hogan. Orton is climbing the ropes. Mr. T and Piper are going at it. Referees have no control. So Hogan is being held by Orndorff. Orton is up on the top rope. He dives off. Hogan moves. Cast on the back of Orndorff's neck. Down goes Orndorff. Hogan on top for the 1, 2, 3. And we have our winners. We have Hogan and Mr. T. This is where it gets interesting, folks. This is where it gets interesting. Again, Mr. T trying to do his own thing. So Piper and Orton are kind of staring down at Orndorff, and then they just kind of walk away from him. And this starts the Orndorff face turn. But it's not even close to happening yet. But you have Mr. T going into business for himself, trying to help up Orndorff. Hogan is trying to back him off. Sorry, Orndorff gets up, dazed. He doesn't know what's going on. Hogan and Mr. T are standing there, not trying to befriend him or anything. But then you see Mr. T trying to offer Orndorff the handshake. Orndorff is not responding, and Hogan keeps pulling back Mr. T. Stop it, you freak. This is not what we're doing yet. Cut it out. You're not going to shake his hand right now. Mr. T keeps trying. Hogan keeps pushing him away. Orndorff says, to heck with all you. Takes off. Still a bad guy. Mr. T almost made it happen sooner than it was supposed to happen. Mr. T. Just stick to what you're told. We got an interview backstage. It makes it feel like $1 million. Makes it feel like a massive thing. The good guys end it. Jimmy Snuka says something. I don't know. Mr. T says something. Hogan says something. Backstage, MSG. And that's the end of WrestleMania. And it was just as good as I was hoping it would be. It really was. It was electrifying. It felt huge. The build-up felt huge. And I enjoyed it as I would as a kid. In fact, Liam came down a few times at night when I was watching it. And he's like, oh, can I watch this? Oh, yeah, let's go. So, that was nice. It was just a big feel. It was a big feel. And it did what it was supposed to do. And so now we begin the road to WrestleMania 2. And we'll kick back up. Wrestling with the Past will rejoin with TNT to review WrestleMania, TNT, and then we go into the Saturday shows again. And we got some big things happening. We have a massive debut in Randy Savage and Elizabeth. And we have our first Saturday night's main event coming up in a few months. So Wrestling with the Past is going to be fun. Here we go. Thanks for watching. Good night now.